The pyramids. How did the ancient Egyptians really build them? Imagine standing in front of the Great Pyramid of Giza. No cranes, no bulldozers, no modern engines, no computers. And yet more than 4,000 years ago, the ancient Egyptians built one of the most incredible structures ever created by human hands. So how did they do it? Did the Egyptians possess a lost technology, far more advanced than we realize? Were their bodies stronger and more powerful than ours? Did supernatural beings help them move massive stones? Or is there any truth to the idea that aliens were involved? Today, we're going to explore every possibility. But there's one rule. We separate what is proven from what is merely possible. Because the truth about the pyramids may be even more impressive than the myths. First, what do we actually know about the Great Pyramid? The Great Pyramid of Giza was built for Pharaoh Khufu around the 26th century BC. Originally, it stood about 481 feet tall. Its base covered more than 13 acres, and it was constructed from roughly 2.3 million stone blocks. Some weighed only a few tons. Others weighed dozens of tons. And here's the incredible part. The Egyptians had to quarry these stones, shape them, transport them, raise them, and position them with extraordinary precision. This wasn't simply a pile of rocks. It was a massive engineering project. And that leads to the real mystery. How did they actually do it? Second, did the Egyptians have lost technology? When people hear the words lost technology, they often imagine futuristic machines, lasers, engines, computers, machines that could lift stones effortlessly. But technology doesn't have to look futuristic. Technology is simply the practical use of knowledge, and the ancient Egyptians were incredibly skilled engineers. They understood geometry, they understood surveying, they understood balance, they understood leverage, they understood materials. And most importantly, they understood how to organize thousands of people into one enormous construction system. Imagine a massive stone sitting in a quarry. Instead of trying to lift it directly, workers could place it on a wooden sled. Then dozens or even hundreds of workers could pull it using ropes. Water could reduce friction beneath the sled, and ramps could transform a difficult vertical lift into a much easier pulling motion. It wasn't one magical machine. It was a system. Ropes, sledges, levers, ramps, wood, water, human power, and mathematics. Put all of those together, and something that looks impossible suddenly becomes an enormous engineering project. Third, what could this lost technology have looked like? If the Egyptians possessed advanced construction techniques that have since disappeared, they probably wouldn't have looked like modern machines. They could have been mechanical systems. Imagine enormous wooden ramps rising toward the pyramid. Teams of workers pulling sledges along prepared surfaces. Large wooden levers positioned around the stones. Ropes controlling the movement. And counterweights helping workers move heavy blocks. The principle is simple. Instead of fighting the entire weight of a stone directly, you change the direction of the force. A lever multiplies your mechanical advantage. A ramp reduces the slope. A sled reduces the difficulty of dragging. A counterweight can help balance a load, and an organized team can multiply human strength. Researchers have proposed several possible ramp and lifting systems. Some models even explore the possibility of counterweights being used to help move heavy blocks upward. But there's an important distinction. These are engineering hypotheses and models. They are not proof that we have discovered the exact construction method used for every part of the Great Pyramid. The complete construction process is still debated, and that's what makes the mystery so fascinating. Fourth, were the ancient Egyptians physically stronger than us? Now let's talk about human strength. Were ancient Egyptians built differently from modern humans? Were they giants? Were they physically superhuman? There is no reliable evidence that the ordinary Egyptians who built the pyramids were giants. But there is something much more realistic. Their lifestyle was extremely physical. No cars, no elevators, no power tools, no modern construction equipment. Daily life involved walking, carrying, lifting, rowing, digging, cutting, and physical labor. Workers who spent years performing this kind of work would naturally develop tremendous endurance and practical strength. But here's the real secret. They didn't need one superhuman man to move a massive stone. They needed hundreds of ordinary humans working together. One person pulls, another controls the rope, another stabilizes the stone, another prepares the path, another gives the signal, another makes sure the stone doesn't shift. This is how human strength becomes a machine. Not because the people were superhuman, but because the organization was extraordinary. Fifth, did the Egyptians use jinn or supernatural beings? Now we enter the world of legends. Some stories claim that enormous structures could only have been built with supernatural assistance. And over time, stories about supernatural beings became connected to ancient monuments. But history requires evidence, and so far, there is no credible archaeological evidence proving that supernatural beings helped build the pyramids. No physical remains, no tools belonging to supernatural creatures, no construction records describing them as workers, no archaeological discovery confirming the claim. So, as a historical explanation, the jinn theory remains a legend. Interesting? Absolutely. Proven? No. And that's an important distinction. Sixth, what about aliens? Now we reach the theory that has fascinated millions of people. Aliens. The argument goes something like this. The pyramids were too advanced for ancient humans. Therefore, extraterrestrials must have helped. Imagine it. A strange spacecraft appears above the Giza Plateau. Advanced machines float massive stones through the air. Technology manipulates gravity. Machines cut granite with incredible precision. And computers calculate every angle. If technology like that existed, building the pyramid would become dramatically easier. But there's one enormous problem. Where is the evidence? Where are the machines? Where are the power sources? Where are the extraterrestrial materials? Where are the remains of this advanced technology? We don't have them. And despite decades of speculation, there is no credible archaeological evidence proving that extraterrestrial beings built or assisted in building the Egyptian pyramids. So the alien theory remains fascinating science fiction, but it is not established history. Seventh, so how did they actually move the stones? Now let's return to the evidence. One of the most important clues is transportation. Many of the stones used in the main structure came from relatively nearby sources, but other materials traveled much farther. High-quality limestone used for the outer casing came from Tura, and granite used in important internal structures came from Aswan, hundreds of miles away. So how could they move such enormous pieces? Water was one of their greatest advantages. The Nile was essentially an ancient transportation highway. Heavy materials could be loaded onto boats and transported along the river and connected waterways. Then, once the stones reached the construction area, workers could use sledges, ropes, ramps, and other mechanical methods to move them across land. The Egyptians didn't have trucks. They had something else. A sophisticated transportation network built around the Nile. So after everything we've seen, no aliens, no proven supernatural beings, no evidence that the Egyptians were giants, and no solid proof of technology more advanced than our own, thousands of workers, simple tools, massive stones. But here's the mystery. We still don't know exactly how they solved every engineering challenge. We still don't know every detail of how every stone was moved, lifted, and positioned. They needed knowledge, planning, teamwork, and determination. The evidence tells us the ancient Egyptians built them, using the knowledge and resources available in their world. But the real question is, how did they accomplish something this incredible with the technology of their time? Maybe we've discovered most of the answer, or maybe there's still a missing piece. What do you think, honestly? Now leave your theory in the comments. Follow History Odyssey, hit like and subscribe. This is History Odyssey. The journey into the past has only just begun.